Making a video like this, a list like this, is almost impossible because think about how many sandwiches there are. There have got to be thousands of sandwiches like around the world. So like to whittle that list down to 10 sandwiches, I mean, not everybody's going to be a fan of this because I'm sure a sandwich that you like or I like may not feature on this list, but we're about to see some delicious sandwiches, that's for sure.
The sandwich is the perfect meal. It's portable, it's filling, and there are endless possibilities. Sandwiches can be sweet or savory and served hot or cold. Are you a vegetarian? Great, have a sandwich. Are you a meat lover? Great, here are more sandwiches. Check out our favorites. You shouldn't need a recipe for this. It's in the name, folks.
BLT.
Bacon, lettuce, and tomato.
Yeah.
The beauty of the perfect BLT is that if you use good B, L, and T, you will have a good BLT. This sandwich is all about using good,
but you need a good sauce as well, I think, for a BLT.
Quality ingredients. That said, there is a little margin for error. Basically, the bacon needs to be freshly fried, hot and crispy. The lettuce must be anything other than iceberg and have some real bite, and the bread must be toasted. The origins of the BLT are a bit opaque. Some believe it's a descendant of English tea time sandwiches from the Victorian era, while others believe it's an American variation on the classic club sandwich, which was popularized in the dining cars of America's bustling railways. According to Michelle Jordan, author of the BLT cookbook, the first mention of the BLT can be found in a 1903 issue.
That's not a BLT, is it? Where's the bacon?
Of Ladies' Home Journal magazine. Who knew? Has a tuna melt ever been spectacular? Probably not, but it's a diner classic for a reason. Classically open-faced, but sometimes served between two slices of bread, this sandwich combines toasted bread, tuna salad, and melted cheese. While the true origin of this sandwich is somewhat murky, the tuna melt was allegedly invented at a Woolworth's lunch counter in 1965 in Charleston, South Carolina. According to writer Warren Bobrow, an order for a grilled cheese sandwich on white bread with a smear of mayo came in.
You know what? I've never tried a tuna melt. Can you believe that? Do I need to try one? I'm missing out, aren't I? Yeah, I'm missing out.
Then, atop the griddle on a shelf, a freshly made tuna salad sits on the edge. And, as if guided by a hidden hand, the contents tip over, falling on the grilled cheese. Voila! The tuna melt is born. The tuna melt can be a polarizing sandwich. Not everyone is a fan of warmed-up tuna salad and cheese. What's the secret to a perfect tuna melt? Crispy, substantial bread, not too much tuna salad, and actually melt that cheese, please. There is nothing quite like the simple pleasure of eating a good grilled cheese sandwich. What's the secret to making one? First, make sure that you choose a cheese that melts well. The question as to whether you should use butter or mayonnaise on your grilled cheese can be pretty polarizing, but whatever spread you decide to use, remember to go low and slow. The last thing you want is some unmelted cheese in between two slices of burnt bread.
That's so true. The cheese has got to be melty so that when you slice it down the middle and you pull it, you get that stretch. Ooh, yeah.
This is cold and the cheese isn't hardly melted down.
We'll try everything we can to make this work.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a stake in this kid.
From whence did such a simple, perfect culinary invention appear? Something similar to today's notion of a grilled cheese can be traced back to World War II when Navy cooks prepared American cheese-filling sandwiches. The term grilled cheese didn't appear until the 1960s, though preceded by toasted cheese or melted cheese sandwiches. A banh mi is a Vietnamese sandwich on a short French baguette. Banh mi can refer to a type of short baguette, but when used outside of Vietnam, it's generally referring to a sandwich that is filled with a fusion of Vietnamese and French flavors.
Does it have a sauce in it though? Because I mean, like this one looks a little dry. Hopefully there's some sauce in there.
There is no one singular banh mi recipe, but generally they have pickled vegetables, mayonnaise, cucumbers, cilantro, Maggi seasoning sauce, or another seasoning sauce such as a soy sauce, and a meat filling. The banh mi came into existence with the French colonization of Vietnam. The French colonizers grew crops and raised livestock in Vietnam to approximate their European diet, but they were unable to grow wheat in their new colony. The French shipped bread into Vietnam, but only the French could afford it. It wasn't until they left that the Vietnamese were free to create their own invention, the banh mi we know and love today.
I see.
Don't order a Reuben on a first date or at a high-pressure business lunch.
Is this a salt beef sandwich? Yeah, I love a salt beef sandwich. Oh my God.
This is a sandwich that can get pretty messy. Between two slices of rye bread, there should be a lot of pastrami, sauerkraut, pickles, Swiss cheese, and a tangy Russian dressing. You're probably going to need a toothpick or two to hold it together.
Yeah, I had one at Cat's Deli, and the amount of meat they put in there, it was expensive, don't get me wrong. With the beer, it cost me $30 for a sandwich and a beer. But they give you a lot of meat. They give you a ton of meat.
Why does this sandwich have a first name? Who is the original Reuben? One potential claim of the origin of the sandwich is that it was invented by the owner of a hotel in Omaha in the 1920s, who named it for one of his regular poker players.
Oh.
But there's a competing story of the origin of the Reuben sandwich that seems a little less like a fairy tale and more like a believable fact about delis in New York. It was invented by Arnold Reuben at his sandwich shop on East 58th Street in 1914. Either way, it's delicious.
That is incredible, Jay.
The moaning.
Here's another messy one. The French dip is a hot sandwich consisting of thinly sliced beef served on a baguette with a side of beef broth for dipping, hence the name. It's usually served plain, but it is sometimes topped with Swiss cheese and onions. Two famed eateries in Los Angeles claim to have invented the French dip: Cole's and Philippe's. Cole's feels like a sophisticated speakeasy, whereas Philippe's feels more like an old-school diner or cafeteria, with the floor covered in sawdust. As for who makes a better French dip sandwich, that is, of course, a matter of opinion. But as to which 100-plus-year-old eatery can claim to have the original French dip, it's hard to say. But if it were Philippe's, the original French dip may have been
Wow, that is a lot of beef, man. And look how thick it
a
is.
pork sandwich. In a 1951 interview with the LA Times, Philippe Mathieu recalled, "One day a customer saw some gravy in the bottom of a large pan of roast meat. He asked me if I would mind dipping one side of the French roll in that gravy. I did, and right away 5 or 6 others wanted the same." A cheesesteak is all about the gooey melted cheese and the thinly sliced steak, and the Philly
I really need to try an authentic Philly cheesesteak. I have to do it. I have to.
cheesesteak is associated with a place perhaps more than any other sandwich. To make a cheesesteak, you need a thinly sliced sirloin or ribeye. When it comes to the cheese, the classics are provolone, American cheese, and Cheese Whiz. You can stop there, or you could add some caramelized onions, mushrooms, hot peppers, or bell peppers, then put all of that together on an Italian roll, or, as they call it in Philly, a hoagie. The cheesesteak was invented in 1930 by Pat Oliveri, a hot dog vendor and namesake of the legendary establishment Pat's King of Steaks. He decided to add a little variety to his menu, threw some beef on his grill with some onions, added it to a bun, and an early version of the cheesesteak, a steak sandwich sans cheese, was born.
A lot of these sandwiches on this list have steak as the meat of choice. It seems like steak or beef or some kind of meat is like a really popular choice in sandwiches. I think it's got to be tender though, because if it's like tough to chew, oh yeah, there's nothing worse than like chewing like a steak that's like, you know, not tender and you're just chewing and chewing and chewing.
The cheese came later, and it became a classic. The Monte Cristo is a fever dream of a sandwich, neither savory nor sweet. It's a sandwich, and it's also French toast. In short, it's a ham and cheese sandwich, dipped in an egg batter, fried in a skillet, and then dusted in powdered sugar. The first incarnation of the Monte Cristo is the croque monsieur, aka the original grilled cheese sandwich. Originally served at a Paris cafe in 1910, the croque monsieur is made up of a Gruyere and ham pressed between 2 slices of bread and fried in butter. While there's no exact documentation, the Monte Cristo supposedly entered the scene in the 1960s
It's not very big, is it though? I could probably have like 5 of these.
in Southern California and exploded in popularity after the Blue Bayou restaurant in Disneyland began serving it. If you could put summer in New England on a bun, a lobster roll would be it. The best lobster rolls are simple and, apologies to anyone who doesn't live in New England or the Canadian Maritimes, fresh. Lobster is a delicacy, so just a touch of lemon and mayonnaise are all you really need to add to the lobster meat to really make it sing.
God, look how much lobster they put in that one. Oh my God, that one's got to be like $30, $40.
Lobster rolls are traditionally served in a split-top hot dog bun with chips or fries on the side. The first lobster roll was served at Perry's, a Milford, Connecticut restaurant in 1929, and really came into its own in Maine, the heart of the lobster fishing industry in the 1970s. The early Maine lobster roll was very simple: warm lobster served with butter on a hot dog bun. Just don't forget that one cardinal rule: fresh.
Did you just order lobster in a diner? Yeah, why? Because it's a diner.
Even if you love Mexican food, you might not be familiar with the torta, also known as the Mexican sandwich. Like the banh mi, the torta is a culinary remnant of French colonialism. But unlike the crisp baguettes the French brought to Vietnam, the torta is served on a soft roll. Like the perfect corn tortilla, the bun of a torta is a soft, subtle springboard for the assertive flavors inside. There is no one torta recipe.
What is that? What kind of meat is this? Look at the color on it. Wow.
But there are a few popular varieties, such as one with carnitas served on a sourdough roll that's spread with refried beans. The whole torta is then covered in a spicy sauce and topped with raw onions. The most simple, shelf-stable, kid-friendly sandwich, and perhaps the first sandwich you ever ate. A triumph of American ingenuity and processed foods, the first step in making the PB&J possible was the invention of peanut butter in the 1880s. Contrary to popular belief, Dr. George Washington Carver did not invent peanut butter, although he did advance the peanut as a crop in the American South. In 1895, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, of Kellogg's cereal fame, patented a process for making peanut butter as a high-protein substitute for people who could not chew solid food. Some credit a writer, Julia Davis Chandler, with the first mention of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a 1901 issue of the Boston Cooking School magazine.
I mean, this is a great sandwich. It probably doesn't belong on this list, but to be fair, it does taste amazing. Like when you've not had one in a long time, oh my God, it's such a good snack.
Peanut butter became a cheap protein staple during the Great Depression, and during World War II, mass-produced Welch's grape jelly was included with soldiers' rations, popularizing the peanut butter and jelly sandwich among American GIs who brought their love of the sandwich home with them after the war. Who can pass up a PB&J sandwich?
Yeah. I'm not hungry either. You're not hungry either? Okay. Okay, it's fine.
Neither the bagel nor lox originates in New York, but the two together with cream cheese, capers, and onions is a distinctly New York creation. No one knows exactly when it became
Look at that. That looks incredible.
a thing, but by the 1950s, some Jewish immigrants would use bagels and lox as an insult meaning too Americanized or assimilated. The bagel wars have been fought. Some prefer Montreal bagels, while some people think that it is literally impossible to get a good bagel outside of New York City. Some people think that you can find a New York-style bagel pretty much anywhere. Regardless of the bagel, the real story is that the lox in question isn't
I'm not sure about the pomegranate. That is pomegranate, right? I'm not sure about is that pomegranate? Is it? I think it is.
even lox. The Jewish tradition of making lox, or brined fish, began in medieval Germany and was usually made with herring or carp. Today's lox are smoked salmon. Why? It was more widely available to 19th century immigrants. Bagels and lox was born. A poboy is a traditional type of sandwich from Louisiana, served on New Orleans French bread and filled with oysters, fried shrimp, roast beef,
Look how juicy those shrimp look. Oh my God.
or crab. The poboy's origins can be traced back to the sandwich known as the oyster loaf, and the sandwich took on the name poor boy, or the more familiar po' boy, during the 1929 transit strike. Legend has it that restaurant owners Benny and Clovis Martin wanted to serve the strikers free roast beef sandwiches, but they wanted to be able to do it with a new type of French bread that had no tapered ends and thus no waste. You don't have to get dressed up to eat a po' boy, but a po' boy can come dressed, meaning with a topping of shredded lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and mayonnaise. Like the aforementioned Monte Cristo, the Cuban sandwich is a ham and cheese sandwich.
This is another one I've never tried that I really want to. It always looks so good.
But that's pretty much where the similarities end. In addition to ham and Swiss cheese, an authentic Cuban sandwich contains roast pork and pickles, with soft on the inside bread. Despite its name, the Cuban sandwich actually originated in Ybor City, Florida, at either the Columbia restaurant or one of the smaller cafeteria-style eateries in the neighborhood.
No way. I would have bet my bottom dollar that it came from Cuba. I would have but like, I mean, surely it's Cuban.
The hearty sandwich, back then consisting of pickles, mustard, ham, turkey, salami, and Swiss cheese, served as lunch for the immigrant Cuban cigar workers, who called the mixed meat sandwiches mixto. The English speakers in Ybor City called these sandwiches Cubans. Check out one of...
My goodness me. Oh, man. So many good-looking sandwiches. For me, the ones that stick out are the poboy, the lobster roll, the Cuban, and the Philly cheesesteak. I mean, to be honest, all of them looked amazing. The lox bagel, especially the one with the really thickly cut salmon. Oh, my God. Give me 10. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.